Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, race fans from around the world. Hey, guess what? It's Friday night. TGIF, NF, thank goodness it's Friday night flights. Hey, right off the bat, I want to give a big shout out to our Friday night sponsor. I am hoping you're sitting down right now getting ready to enjoy some good old Blaze Pizza. Blaze Pizza, Greg McClendon, putting on the show for us here on Friday Night Flights. And I'll tell you what, folks, if you haven't checked out Blaze Pizza in your local area, you have got to. It's done on a howdy, hello, how you doing? What kind of crust do you like? And we're going to walk you down that line, and we're going to throw some of this, and we're going to throw some of that. And I tell you what, do you want jalapenos? Do you want spinach? Do you want pepperoni? Blaze Pizza. Hoping you're sitting down on this Friday night flight enjoying a Blaze Pizza. All right, folks. I am Scott Kolovic. This is KMA TV. This is Race 5. This is Kentucky Week. This is Friday Night Flights. We've been out here running Kentucky all week long. Now, think back to, I guess it was Monday night, and the boys came out here to play. Ran only 3 cautions. Not a bad night on a Monday night. Tuesday night, well, that was a little bit of a rough night out here on Tuesday night. They were running the Camping World trucks. Now, tonight, we've brought out the big boy cars, the big boy toys for the big boys. Drivers are getting ready to take that qualifying field. And I tell you what, here at Kentucky, I don't know what to think about here, folks. We're going to see how these drivers do out here tonight. Hoping for a good race out here. Going to be a lot of action, I can guarantee you that. Taking a look at our qualifying field out there on that front line, we do have Dalton Collins pulling down a fast lap time of 28.204, side by side with Dustin Lee with 28.287. Abe Bowden, Mr. Skittlemobile, in third position with 28.389. Blake Heather with a 28.410, and rounding out the top 5, well, shoot, he's been a win here. We all know about Travis Browder, 5th position with a 28.429. Donald Stewart sitting in 6th place. Lee Staples, Black Talon Racing in 7th, side by side with Dark Horse Racing's very own Howard Bell. Mark Jackson, representing Over the Top Paints and Designs, in position 9. And rounding out our top 10, my good friend Ronald Klein, owner of RTK Motorsports, in position 10. Our Tuesday night sponsor, Jason Russo, in the number 14, will reside in 11th place. Freeman Kelly, reverse that 12, you get a 21. And you get Freeman Kelly. Sitting back in 13th position, we've got Wally Tierheimer, Wally, in the number 57. Sitting beside John Bunton out of Carolina for position 14. Jack Watts, representing Southeast Motorsports, side by side with Edward Bray, 15th and 16th. Paul Pellizier, representing Kicking Asphalt, position 17. Side by side with another Dark Horse fellow, George Stratton, looking good in the number 24 for position 18. Position 19, Bruce Carbrough. Chris Mulhall in position 20. Chris Voiles, representing Max Velocity, and it still fills in 22nd position. Greg McClendon, 23rd. Dave Casia, 24th. 45 in the 25th. William Vandiver, side by side with our announcer. Well, good thing I ain't down there because I can't do all this stuff at one time. I'll tell you what. Kerry Cleaver in position 27th. Joel Guy in the 2-8 spot. Lee Ryerson Jr., 29. Danny Rudy, Dan's Top Notch Heating and Cooling, for 31st. And Chris Hogue near the rear of that field. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is our starting grid. Hey, a big shout out there to GW Graphics, joining us out there on that KMA TV chat. hoping for a good night out here. Abe Bowden taking a good green flag start into number 74. Behind that, number 95 of Dalton Collins. Number 32 of Dustin Lee on that outside. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know, the line is going to be everything out here at Kentucky tonight. It's simple as that. Freeman Kelly getting a very late start. Not sure what the deal is with Freeman Kelly, but he is off to a very, very late start. You can see these drivers get spread out once this night does roll around. Right now, we've got Dalton Collins running for his life. Abe Bowden chasing him down. Rear, rear, rear. Can you hear those sirens flashing? Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear a siren flash? You can't hear a siren flash. But I tell you what, Dalton Collins, he's nowhere on the grid we're looking at. We have got Blake Heather in second, Abe Bowden in third, Travis Browder all over the rear end, coming down on that inside of Abe Bowden with Donald Stewart in the number 76 tight on that field. Travis Browder, I tell you what, guys, you've been here all week. Cat knows what he's doing. Travis Browder, what a fine young man. Right now sitting in third position. Blake Heather starting to make a little runaway. Travis Browder making a little runaway right there. Your little runaway. Abe Bowden sliding back up as the number 76 of Donald Stewart slices his way underneath. Great start out here tonight, folks. But I tell you what, these drivers, they've got to get into that long haul mentality. You know, cooking it up on here on lap 1, lap 2, lap 3. It ain't going to get the job done. Side by side with the number 88 and the number 74, 88, Howard Bell from Dark Horse Racing the Skittle Mobile, being driven by Abe Bowden. Now, folks, Abe Bowden and I have raced together for well over 8-9 years. Abe Bowden and I used to race back there in the days of Project Torque. For all those old-timers, we call him Den Boca. Den Boca being a derivative of his wife and his kids' initials. Not sure if it's Debbie Diane or whatever, but nonetheless, Abe Bowden, nicknamed Den Boca, right now in a very good position in position 6. Howard Bell making his way around in the Exalta, but Donald Stewart cooking it up all over the rear end of Travis Browder, side by side on the inside for position 3. Travis Browder in a Toyota, Donald Stewart in a Chevy SS. Toyota, Chevy SS. Where are the Ford Fusions? Blake Heather opting out for that Toyota as well. Dalton Collins, long gone, out by a 1.7 second lap. Well, you go, dog. Wally Tierheimer all over the rear end of Abe Bowden, number 32 of Dustin Lee, representing Southeast Motorsports, trying to make his run. Caution is out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, underneath our first caution of the night here at Kentucky. Looking through the field, not really seeing anything terribly wrong. Must have been a single car incident, but I tell you what, everybody is out there looking good. Chris Mulhall will fall to one lap down. Chris Hogue in pit row. Dalton Collins out there on the front line here, leading lap 8 of 100. First caution. Big shout out there to Martha Tierheimer. We got Wally Tierheimer out here in position 8, doing a great job. Early caution out here, lap 8 of 100. Interesting situation here for Dalton, as Dalton does dive into pit row, but actually Dalton opts to stay out of pit row, as Blake, Travis, and the entire field, well, they're all up there in pit row, but Dalton staying out early on. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, let's check out Dalton and see exactly what he is up to. How about it, Dalton Collins? Have you got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
All righty. Underneath an early caution, I know. But I tell you what, you didn't go into pit row. What's that about?
Well, with these cool light conditions, it's very cool out, and I don't think the tires are really going to be affected a lot much, especially with this rocket that I got here. I'll tell you what, this thing was fast in practice, and I'm really dependent on setup right here on this next run rather than tires. So hopefully we'll get to see what tires versus setup will do, especially on these cool light conditions, and just basically just testing it out and just seeing what it'll do, and just gonna try to go out here and get this win.
All right, now I tell you what, we watched on that restart, and you started first. Right now you're in first. You were out of there like a bat out of hell, to quote some Meatloaf right there. And I tell you, it's an open set. Is your set that good, or are these guys that bad?
Well, I mean, this set is actually the setup that I ran in NIS last week at Kentucky in Top Split. I was racing against guys like Jimmy Mullis, Zach Novak, just to name a few. Those are actually peak drivers today. They're racing the In-Pass Series. This is a Driven Motorsports Cup entry tonight. It's only a one-time thing. I'm really enjoying it already, but it's got Fastlane Motorsports equipment under the hood. So on that side, Fastlane is actually my Cup team that I work with week in and week out. And
so are we talking Everett?
Everett.
Everett with Fastlane?
This is Jonathan Dickert's team, actually. He's the owner over there.
Okay.
Guys like Dave Siltman, Don Etchert, just name a few. But yeah, this is just a one-time thing. Might do it again in the future for these guys. Driven Motorsports, a small super late model team, but one-time Cup entry with Fastlane Motorsports equipment under the hood, and so what we got for tonight. Hopefully, we can go out and get this win.
All right, real quick, talk to me about the paint job, Jegs.com.
Jegs, yeah. This is just a paint scheme I found on Trading Paints. Really beautiful. I'm a big fan of Jegs, and paint scheme is working wonders.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, underneath our first caution of the night, early on, how about it, Greg? Have you got a copy, sir?
Absolutely.
All righty. Greg, you're spectating out here tonight.
That's correct, sir, and I have always followed the golden rule. I work a lot of hours and stuff like that, and as much as I want to race, I just don't want to be that guy. So discretion is a better part of valor on that, so I'm checking out the KMA race tonight and just in spectator mode.
All righty, well, I tell you what, I have hijinks you coming down in the booth, and you're going to keep me company for a little bit if you don't mind.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so far, let's see how we're doing at Kentucky. Now, Greg, you remember back to Monday, they only had 3 cautions, open set in the Xfinity class. Tuesday, I think we were up to 7, 9, might have been like 27 or 35 cautions. I don't remember. I try to forget Tuesday. But how do you think the boys are going to do tonight? We got an open set, but we got the big boy toys out here tonight.
You know, if the guys are actually patient tonight, this race could be a very, very solid race. That was a very solid start by the guys tonight. I think I'm detecting a little green flag mist in the air, so maybe if these guys settle down a little bit, we'll be able to get a green flag run in as we're going back to green.
Well, and again, I'm watching that number 95 of Dalton. Now, folks, what we mean by an open set, that means that these drivers can come out here and they can adjust the tire pressure, they can adjust the ballast, they can adjust how tightly that seat belt wraps around their waist. do you think that's going to be the deciding factor? Because right now, Dalton is out of that gate, Greg.
And there's no doubt about it. There are some much more experienced guys racing right now, and they've had time as well as additional resources, i.e. teammates, to bounce ideas off of. So it's a built-in advantage. Yes, it is at this point for guys who are just kind of new to getting things set up. So he's basically in the class by himself right now, and he's out there doing his thing.
Now, sitting back in second position is Blake Heather, Travis Browder. Now, Greg, I'm noticing that Travis keeps dropping below that yellow line a little bit. Now, I understand that is allowed. Tell us all about that.
Well, absolutely. It's only at the super speedways. Below the yellow line is illegal, where you cannot advance your position without being black flagged by NASCAR. At a mile-and-a-half super speedway, as I call them here, like in Kentucky, Atlanta, Charlotte, Texas. The yellow line doesn't necessarily mean out of bounds, but it can be treacherous, and it has its cost to be paid if you misjudge.
But is it any faster as they roll back up onto that track? Because there's a little bit of a bump jump right there.
Absolutely. Kentucky is a lot more bumpy, I should say, than people expect at this point. But yeah, there's a hazard of doing that. You can always bounce, and especially if you have a car on your quarter panel or to your side, you can hit one of those bumps and inadvertently lose traction and wash up into the car to your outside. And especially if that car is down on you, pinching you, basically taking that side force away from you, that's kind of exacerbates the situation.
Now, I went down there on that track tonight, Greg, before race, and I talked to these drivers, and I told them what I think is the most important piece of information. I said, guys, you know that Hot Rod Charlie, he's going to come barreling down on you about lap 15, lap 17, and he's just got to get beside you. He's got to get around you. He can't wait. And the best advice that I gave to these drivers was let Hot Rod Charlie go past, because he's going to burn his stuff up. No, I didn't use the stuff. I used another four-letter word with S. But give us a little bit more insight about what I mean by burn our stuff up.
Well, race fans, just a little bit about myself. I have never been a speed merchant myself, but I have qualified well enough to where I would always make my setups to handle best on the long run. You're going to have rabbits get out there in front of you, and that's okay. For me, that's okay, because I know they're burning their precious tires off, especially at what I consider tire tracks such as Atlanta and Texas and Kentucky. These tracks that are very abrasive to tires. And as the run progresses and with proper strategy, I prefer my long run vehicle over a short run vehicle. So, there's a distinct advantage of being able to set your setups and stuff yourself, whether you want to be a rabbit or do you want to be a turtle, so to speak. And in my case, turtles usually kind of comes out on top, or I usually get a top 5, which is more than good, satisfactory for me. And if I qualify well enough and get a long run in, Lord help them.
But I'm telling you, I do hope these drivers do stay in the long run out here tonight, because I've got a confession. When I got onto the simulator tonight, my wheel was giving me a little bit of grief myself, and I've got all my hotkeys on my wheel, so I've got no replay function tonight. So they better go green, because I can't back anything up. And I tell you what, iRacing is a curious creature, and some of the things that we got to deal with out here, but it's nothing like being down in that cockpit. Now, I want to talk about one driver in particular as we talk about the intensity that these driver feels. Have you ever heard about the Oculus Rift, Greg?
Oh my goodness, yes. I'm happen to live in Indianapolis, Indiana, which is home to 90% of the IndyCar racing teams. And there's a young gentleman there called Darren Manning. He owns a facility on the west side of Indianapolis, and I was able to be privileged to, got a caution out.
All right, well, I tell you what, Greg, maybe you can rewind it for me since I can't. but I'm not seeing any problems down onto that track.
Well, there was a caution. I'm going back to check for the fans right now.
Can't believe I forgot to correct that situation. I do know that Chris Mulehall is 4 laps down, but we're seeing Chris Voiles into pit row. But, again, fans, I apologize. I cannot back it up. But we are underneath our second caution of the night.
Chris Voiles lost his front end a little bit and lost it coming out of the corner.
Alrighty, so just a single car incident.
Single car incident, no damage done.
All right, well, Chris Voiles currently is in pit row. And Dalton Collins still out there on that front line, leading 23 laps. All right, before we get into some driver interviews, Greg, you are our Friday night session sponsor as Dalton and Donald and Blake go into pit row. Talk to us about the sponsorship with Blaze Pizza.
Well, Blaze Pizza, I've been blessed to have sponsorship with this great company that I'm working for right now. And last season, we gave out, which is known as a package, basically, and I still have a few to distribute because of my scheduling. I've not been able to tend to my duties as such, but I still have 6 packages, as well as something for you as well, Scott, that's coming your way here very soon. But this season, I got a trick up the sleeve, and of course, you and I will be able to talk about that off camera, so to speak. So it's going to be a complete surprise. And I really think it's going to be something that's going to basically put us on Front Street with regards to lead plays to come and race and challenge for a win. This is going to be the end place for it, and if I have anything to say about it, me and Blaze Pizza, we're going to make that happen.
Sounds good. I tell you what, it has been a couple of weeks before we've gotten up to a Blaze Pizza, but I tell you what, it is the best pizza that I have had in years. Paul Pellizer going back into pit row for a second time. Interesting situation there by Paul, but that'll put Donald Stewart up there in second position. And we're going to get a quick interview in with Donald Stewart. How about it, Donald? You got a copy?
Yes, sir, Scott. I got you. How you doing tonight?
Doing very good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
All right, looking at the in-loving memory of Everett Stewart, Boston Red Sox. You still ain't got that St. Louis Cardinal fan. What do you think?
I got a secret admirer.
Copy that. All right. Hey, this is Kentucky. Monday, great race. Tuesday, we all kind of went to heck. Friday night, the big boys come out and play. What's your hopes for tonight? Second caution, 1/4 of the way through tonight's race. What's going on out here?
I think they're just getting used to the setup that they have and the track conditions. It's probably a little loose for some of them, and it's basically just self-spins. There's really nobody running in or over anybody, so it's just probably driver error, All
right, now one thing that I have not yet ever talked to a driver about, you're going to be the first driver I talk to this about. Let's talk about the points. Now, I don't talk about points with race fans. I'm not sure if they're really interested in the point system or not. But you as a driver, this is race 5 of 15. I'm not sure what position you are in points. Do you know?
Not exactly. I really don't want to care to know, I just come out here to try to do the best I can every night.
So you're not too worried about points?
The points are gonna fall wherever they at. I'm just trying to get my best positions that I can and let the cards fall,
All right, Greg, you got anything for Donald?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah, buddy.
You got any questions for him, Greg?
I really don't, but I can tell you this: you are doing a very good job out there tonight, and just continue doing what you're doing, and you're going to finish well.
Tempo, thank you.
All right, good luck, Donald.
Thank you, bud.
All right, you'll be happy to hear this Blaze Pizza Greg McClendon. We got Scott Nelson out there on that KMA TV chat, and Scott Nelson says he had some blaze this week, and he says it is awesome.
Oh my goodness, we're home of big friendly smiles, lively fun interactions. We always say yes. Zoom go really fast and exceed expectations. Glad you guys like it. I'm telling you, it's changing the face of how you have pizza now. Once you have it, this is only going to be the only way you're going to have it as we go back to green.
Back to green with, once again, that number 95, Dalton Collins, leading 27 laps out. Travis Browder, Donald Stewart side by side. Donald Stewart on that outside lane. Travis Browder down on that inside. Donald Stewart dropping back just a hair. Blake and Wally, big side by side. Now, you talked about Zoom going really fast, and I tell you what, when my wife and I, now you got to get a blaze closer to my home territory here, because we do got to drive up 60 miles, but I tell you what, it's a drive. We work up that appetite. We go up to Bloomington Normal. But you talk about the Zoom. The whole process from the time that I approached the head waitress, I don't even know what you call these servers, and she asked, first thing she says is, have you ever been here before? Because they lead you through the process. Tell us about the process of getting a pizza at Blaze.
Well, we're under caution right now. Oh, actually, not under caution. We actually have a little bit of a fender bender on the backstretch, but the process at Blaze Pizza is quite simple. You enter our facility and you walk up to our order taker. Our order taker will ask, have you been here before? And if you haven't, and I can explain it to you really quick, we got 8 signature pizzas that you can modify any way you like. We have a 1-topping pizza. We even have a 2-topping pizza, a simple pie, or build your own. We have over 40 toppings that you can select from, and you can build your own pizza to your desire.
Now, I tell you what, the first time I went up there, I was amazed, and I love peppers. In my first one, I had to have some jalapeno peppers, and my wife's like, jalapeno pepper? And I'm like, hey, I'm going big, baby, I'm going big. And she chose a more simple style and my stuff. But you talked about the Zoom. I watched them throw my stuff into the oven, and the hearth, it's not an oven. And you're going to explain that here in a minute. But it is not an oven. I'd say we're talking backyard barbecue. I got to get me one of these things. But they gave us our cups. I walked around the corner, and I got my drink. We picked out a table, put our napkins on the table, and they yelled my name. We were talking like a 2.5-minute wait. I was amazed.
Well, Scott, we use wood fire. We are fired by success, buddy. And we use 500 degrees to fast fire your pizza in 90 seconds. And yes, well, I take that back. Let me back up a little bit. That's a minute 30. That's a little quick. How about 180 seconds? Your pizza will be guaranteed hot if you're walking out the door or settling in at our facility, grabbing a lemonade or one of our other beverages, and enjoying one of our tremendous pizzas.
I tell you what, it is some awesome stuff. And the beverages, even the cups were sturdy. Now, you're going to laugh at me, but I actually brought the cups home every time I go to a Blaze Pizza because they're just roundabout. Yeah, I'm a silly guy, but the cups, we're not talking no styrofoam bull crap here. We're talking hard, sturdy, plastic, good stuff, big napkins. And the atmosphere was not only friendly, it was clean.
Well, that's one of our founding principles, Scott. Rick and Elise Wetzel out in California came up with this idea, and it's based upon 4 principles that we use to open every Blaze that you see across the United States. That is provide fun, fast, friendly Blaze service, maintain sparkling cleanliness, deliver reliable consistency. In other words, any Blaze you go across the United States of America, you're going to find that you're going to get the same treatment, the same product in each and every Blaze Pizza.
Awesome stuff. Taking a look at Bruce Cabral. Right now, he's started 19th in position 19th, getting challenged by the number 76 of Ronald Klein. Have you got any favorite drivers out here tonight, Greg?
Well, I got a lot of DHR, Dark Horse Racing teammates in here. Mr. Howard Bell, Mr. Bruce Cabral, who you just mentioned, is also part of that. I have a few other teammates out here, but these guys are basically what I consider old sim refugees. They basically grew up with me during my time with simulation racing. A lot of them have a lot of experience, and I wanted them to race with this particular group because I thought they'd be a great fit, and I brought them into KMA Racing, and they've been welcomed with open arms.
All right, now we have got those cameras on the number 88 of Howard Bell. Howard Bell is up there in position 5th, up from position 8th. Can you give us a little bit of information about these drivers as I flick through them? So right now we're on the 88 Exalta, Howard Bell.
Oh, absolutely. He's a primary reason why I'm a part of this team right now. Howard and I grew up through the ranks. I think we finally we met in basically in NASCAR 3. We were running for this team called Elite Racing League. And he's a guy that I'm the closest connected to right now in terms of old timers, as I want to lovingly use that term that I have here in iRacing. I learned a lot from this guy. I raced against this guy, and he's just an outstanding driver, and I respect that guy a hell of a lot.
Alrighty, now another driver that we had talked about, George Stratton. Now George Stratton is sitting back here in the number 24 in 14th position, trying to keep a nose out there on the number 74 of Abe Bowden, driving the Napa Know-How number 24. Tell us all about George.
George is a good old veteran. Once again, he's one of the good old guys of Dark Horse Racing, and he's a longtime sim racing veteran. And like I said, oh, we got a caution.
All right, Greg, I'm relying on you to tell me where to point them cameras.
But yeah, George is he's a very steady Eddie there. He gets the job done, and one thing I like about my Dark Horse team is consistency.
Right.
They are very on point, and we don't win a lot of races, but if we catch the setup and we are very consistent, we always finish very well.
All right, now unfortunately though, as I mentioned, my replay is a little bit off, but I am looking at William Vandiver. William Vandiver, there's that Ford Fusion we were looking at, and that's a FUP FF. And you know what I'm talking about. That Ford Fusion, it looks a little bit torn up. But William Vandiver, part of Dark Horse Racing, can you back your cameras up and tell us what happened with William?
All right, one moment here, and I will give a quick look.
All right, well, while you're backing him up so you can tell us, because I screwed up my replay. Oh, my God, I'm bad. But tell us a little bit about William. I'm seeing some military stuff on the hood of that bent-up Ford Fusion.
Well, William, I've known this guy since I got to Dark Horse Racing, and he's one of those old souls. He gets out there and he lays down laps. He tries to stay out of everybody's way, not cause anybody any problems. If he catches a good setup, he's hell on wheels, but he's pretty consistent, and that's one thing. Like I said, the thing I love about Dark Horse Racing is we're a team, and we're a team exclusively. We work with each other, and we share setups, and it's really a great opportunity to be affiliated with. And accidents do happen on occasion. And as I'm listening at the information that I'm hearing from the tower, accidents happen, and we get that. That's racing at the end of the day. But we soldier on, and we move forward and try to do the best that we can.
All righty, copy that. All right, drivers are rolling out of pit stops. Lap 43 of 157 to go. 0 lead changes, 3 cautions, 10 laps. Looking at Blake Heather, a newcomer to KMA Racing and KMA TV. Don't believe I've ever talked to Blake. So we're going to get Blake up here in the booth, and we're going to find out all about Blake. How about it, Blake? Have you got a copy?
Hey, Scott, how's it going tonight?
Doing very good. All right, well, right off the bat, I know two things about you, sir. You like Toyotas, and you like our troops. Talk to us about that paint job, Support Our Troops.
Well, I support every one of them that go out there and fight for our country and make us, have what we have here today. And I got a couple people that I know that are in the Navy and military and stuff like that. And I myself, I'm too big of a chicken to do it myself, so I appreciate everything they do for us.
Looking at the rear end of that Toyota, Revolution Motorsports. I am not familiar with Revolution. Can you tell me all about it?
It's a team that I joined probably about 2 months ago. Shooting for the pros, at least a couple of us are. Pretty good group of guys. They generally don't race leagues, so I just kind of do it for the fun of it, so that's about it.
All right, well, right now you're in second place. You started out here in fourth. How comfortable are you with Kentucky, and how comfortable are you with Cup cars?
Kentucky, this is my first year back through, because last year I didn't get to run it. The Cup car is usually the main car I focus on, so I'm relatively comfortable with these cars.
Now, I'm assuming that you fixed up your own set, right?
Yeah, our Kentucky set this year wasn't very good, so it was a little work in progress, so we'll see what it does.
Well, now, how are you feeling about next week? We're going to be going off to New Hampshire. A lot of guys are shaking for New Hampshire. What do you think?
Oh, I'm ready for the Magic Mile. Maybe I'll get my magic there.
The Magic Mile? That is a name I have not heard. It is called the Magic Mile.
That's what New Hampshire's nickname is, the Magic Mile.
Nice. So we're going to be going from a 1.4 down to a 1.0, and you're pretty confident with that.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Anybody you want to give a shout out to, Blake?
Just everybody at Max Velocity kind of welcoming me in here, and, every one of you guys too. KMA, pretty good group of guys, and everybody's, arms open and give each other bro hugs.
Bro hugs. I love it. All right. Good luck to you, Blake.
Thanks, Scott.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, going to be checking in with Wally Tierheimer. Now, Wally Tierheimer sitting back in position 7. Hey, a big shout out there to Mom Tierheimer out there on that KMA TV chat. Mark Jackson sitting back in position 8. Mark Jackson getting a couple of fans out there on that KMA TV chat. John Hedrick and Kristen Phillips and Mama Patty. Hey, big shout out there to Over the Top Paints and Designs. John Hedrick, loving the over-the-top paints and designs. Check him out on Facebook at The Paint Shop. In-car camera with Mark Jackson. Giving a lot of space up there between Wally Tierheimer. Now, Mark Jackson is in what we call that hornet's nest as the number 32 of Dustin Lee drops down on that inside lane. Whoa, and there is the Napa Auto Care of Jason Russo dropping down in front of Mark Jackson, letting him go by. I think Mark Jackson might be having something going on right there in a good way. Again, we talk about Hot Dog Charlie. There goes the number 77. There goes the number 21 F. Freeman. Here comes the number 24. Mark Jackson in the Chevy SS number 3. Captain America letting the 19 go by. Mark Jackson definitely dropping back several spots. Big shout out there to Chris Hogue, popping his input into the KMA TV chat. Kentucky track is okay, Cup car is okay, but open setups, caution is out. Greg, are you back yet?
Oh, yes, sir. Caution is out. I was about to comment on Mark Jackson there before the caution came out.
Alrighty, again, folks, forgive me for not having my replay button set up, but Greg, I got you here for a reason. Can you tell the fans what happened on that caution?
Well, backing the cameras up, in about 5 seconds, I'll be able to let you know.
I tell you what we have to do out here to get ready for tonight's broadcast is unreal. And I fired my stuff up tonight, and I got into the game there, Greg, and it said configure controls. So I set up my wheel, set up my accelerator, even though I'm not racing, but I forgot to set up my replay keys, so I've got no replay tonight. First thing I'm going to do tomorrow morning, I set up a replay, I'll tell you what. Because I tell you what. Go ahead.
Well, just checking out the replay here. I backed the cameras up all the way there, and I think it was maybe a single car spin. I have not been able to properly track that down yet. There's a small time delay, but I'm scoping, and I haven't seen anything yet, believe it or not. But
well, single car spins. That honestly, on these intermediate tracks, we're going to see a lot of single car spins.
And a lot of them occur off camera, which is really tricky enough. A lot of people gather that up.
Now we got those cameras on Mark Jackson driving
Absolutely.
the official over-the-top paints and designs, taking right sides, taking left sides, pulling out of pit row. I want to give a big shout out there to Mama Patty and Kristen Phillips. And we're going to get Mark Jackson up here in this booth now. We're going to give him a chance to get out there onto that track, get settled back in. But we talked about our favorite drivers earlier. Mark Jackson, what's your thoughts on Mark Jackson? What would Mark Jackson be in your top 10, Greg? How about it, Mark Jackson? You got a copy?
Hey, Scott.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
Man, we're having a good run so far, keeping the car clean, trying to hopefully stay out of trouble here at Kentucky.
All right, well, we're underneath our fourth caution at the halfway point. Hopefully that doesn't mean we're going to be doing 8 by the end point. What's the atmosphere down there on that track?
Well, the cars are fast. Here on the 3 team, I think we made a wrong adjustment there on that last pit stop. We went back and reversed them, and hopefully we can get ourselves back up at the top again. Would really love to see a green flag run here, maybe to the end. That would be awesome.
All right, now fill us in. What is that pit window?
Well, I think, honestly, once we get inside maybe 40 to go, I think we can make it to the end on that one. All depends on how that yellow flag flies, and of course where the track is. But those guys up there in front, man, they're laying down some quick laps. It's a big field, and I don't know. Hopefully we can see a green flag run here to the end for our over-the-top paints and design Chevy. We got Mama Patty up there in the stands watching, and just gonna try to bring home a good finish for her.
All righty, real quick, talk to us about over-the-top paints and designs.
Well, over-the-top paints and designs, John Hedrick. See him on iRacing, and got a Facebook page there. Really good painter. He'll fix you up anything you need, man. Just let him know.
All righty, and tell us all about Mama Patty.
Oh, Mama Patty, man. Here in October, she's going to be 90 years old. We're still running for her, and she gets a big kick out of watching these races. Just really, man, it's just a blast to do it for her. You should see this big old smile she goes to her face whenever she hears her name and her son's name out here racing in the KMA series.
All righty, well, Mama Patty, Mark Jackson. But what about that other little lady in your life?
Oh, Kristen, man, we got some plans. We got some big plans coming up. We're going to, we got engaged here 6 months ago. We haven't set a date yet, but it's coming.
All righty. Good luck to you, Mark Jackson.
Thanks, Scotty.
All right, now, Greg, you got a copy.
10-4.
Now, we haven't talked about your little, well, we know we got your little lady Blaze Pizza, but you got a little lady out there in your life, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
We got to give her a shout.
Oh yeah, Renee is the special person in my life right now, and we just celebrated a birthday on the 2nd of July. And tomorrow we get to go see Mr. Jason Aldean. Actually get to meet the man tomorrow, doing a meet and greet tomorrow at our Clips Music Center here in Noblesville, Indiana, which is one of her favorite artists, which is gold for me. Absolutely loving that opportunity, and she's a hearty old soul. We share the same birthday, and I can't say enough about her.
Nice. Very, very nice. Now, we're off to a nice start, but once again, Dalton Collins out there in front. Donald Stewart, position 2. Travis Browder, position 3. Blake Heather, Dustin Lee, Wally Tierheimer. Big shout out there to Mom Tierheimer. Wally Tierheimer in 5th place, side by side with Jason Russo. And here comes the number 64 of Lee Staples and your boy, George Stratton. But he's being chased down by Edward Bray. Wally and Jason tighter than a hair in a biscuit right there on lap 55 of 100. Not a bad race out here tonight, Greg.
It actually was heating up a little bit as we watching the 98 and the 88 come through the field. A Dark Horse Racing in front of Abe Bowden. Abe Bowden is a veteran of this series here, a veteran of Sim Racing. Known that guy for a long time. He's a great racer.
Loving the paint scheme on the number 98, Bruce Cabral. Am I pronouncing that right?
Absolutely, Cabral.
Cabral. Contact with the 74. No, we actually had our cameras right there, but we did see contact between Bruce and Abe. Abe saved it, but that's going to cost Abe several positions. That's 125 of Lee Ryerson. Comes around Abe Bowden, but no caution. But we did have that on camera.
And it's really amazing that the caution didn't come out at that particular stage, but we stayed green. We have a three-way battle here between the 88, the 24, and the 77 of Mr. Jack Watts.
Jack Watts representing Southeast Motorsports, showing his support for PAD, People Against Distracted Driving. Now, Greg, you being a professional business owner, you're an older gentleman like me. I saw something today that really, really freaked me out, and I'm going to get my plug in for Pat. I turned around today at a stoplight, and I'm just glancing around. Are there any, contact with 88. Oh, we had them cameras on it. I can't back it up, but oh my goodness, the 88, he has got no front end. That is the 88 of Howard Bell. No, go ahead.
Howard got a little loose going into the corner and overcorrected and nosed her into the wall. Unfortunately, it took casualties with him.
Phew, wow. I tell you what, that there, wow. Howard Bell involved in caution number 5. I really wish my replay was working, but I tell you what, we all make mistakes, but right now, Dalton Collins leading 60 laps. All right, well, I tell you what, we are going to hush up here for about 30 seconds, and I'm going to play that Great Blaze commercial, and I'll catch you up in about 30.
Big 10.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, as these drivers do duck into pit row. We are on lap 60 of 100 underneath our 5th caution of the night. Dalton, Donald, Travis, Blake, Dustin, Jason, the gang's all here. All right, Greg, at this point in time, as the cautions do stack up, do you think there might come a time where you might want to say, well, I'm not going in for that caution?
You know, I think that would be the prevailing thought. However, with the strength of what the 95's been able to demonstrate tonight, I would think that would not be the most wisest of decisions, because he's been running so quickly. He will get you probably within a lap or so, if not sooner.
All righty, Wally Tierheimer edging his way out of pit row. All right, I'm going to move Wally up, and Greg, I'm going to give you a first, sir. I'm going to let you interview Wally as I move him up. And here he is.
Wally Tierheimer, Greg McClendon in the booth. You got a copy?
Hello there, Greg. How are you?
Hey, doing all right, buddy, tonight. How's your night going so far for you?
I'm trying to stay out of trouble here, and that sounds like a pat answer, but I've been up in the top. I think I'm in 7th now, 7 or 8 positions all night. I kind of made a good move on the first or second lap. I don't know, the first of the race, and I ended up passing a few people. I managed to keep myself up here and away from any accidents. Nothing has happened up here in the first third of the pack, so I've just been lucky to be up here and not in where the mess was.
Yeah, I've noticed that tonight, Wally. You've been able to stay trouble-free tonight and keep your nose clean, and you're in contention for a win here. You mentioned Pat earlier tonight, and I think that's very important to our group. Would you explain to us a little bit about what Pat is and why we think it's so important within our group?
Well, I'm on the road a lot. I'm a construction manager, so I'm going from site to site, and I'm on the road a lot. And there's a lot of people out there that are not paying attention to driving. They're looking at texts or emails or fiddling with stuff. And it's a real important thing that people don't do that, because you're not paying attention for 1 second, and bad things can happen. So it's real important for us all to be aware of this.
Big 10-4, Wally. We got a minute or two. Any shout-outs you'd like to give out? Maybe Mama Tierheimer was out there watching tonight?
Well, I don't know if she's out there watching tonight. My nephew had come down from Idaho. But if they are, that'd be cool. If Josh and my mom are watching, it'd be nice. Give a shout-out to them. And you guys up there, man, this is cool to hear you up there, Greg. I haven't heard you up in the booth before. So good luck to you.
Hey, I appreciate it, Wally. I've got a little bit of broadcasting experience, unbeknownst to a lot of people. But, I've done this a time or two. But it's just a pleasure to be able to talk with drivers here within our group. We're going to go back green here, and we're going to let you go back at it, Wally. Good luck, and we'll hopefully see you at the end there.
All right, Greg. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Scott.
Big 10-4.
All right, so Greg, you talked about you've got some experience in the broadcasting booth. As we are getting ready to go back to green flag, tell us all about that.
Well, I went to school, and one of my majors is English. I'm an English major, but I have a sub-major in journalism, and I was going to be one of those first broadcasters on ESPN when it was first bloomed, but visions change, and all of a sudden I got Blaze Pizza. 32 years later, I'm still happy with what I'm doing.
Now, I tell you what, as we are coasting around this track to go back to green flag racing, I've got a confession to make, because talking about you with your experience, back to green flag racing, Dalton Collins once again on that restart. But I tell you what, Greg, I was sitting around here 7 years ago, and I got bored because my wife was playing Sims. Now, if you don't know what Sims is, it's basically virtual Barbie dolls. We spent like hundreds, and drive her down.
That was number 21.
Good look here.
number 21. We've seen him fly down. That is Freeman Kelly, able to save it back. Oh, but back to back. Oh, what do they say? Cautions breed cautions.
Unfortunately, that's the case here, and at this rate, we may not get our green flag run-in, so we'll be pretty much doing basically a modified sprint to the end. So we'll see what kind of changes are going to be made, if anybody's going to take advantage of it on pit road.
Well, we are on 35 to go, and the fuel window sits about 37, so we're going to keep our eye on Travis, but we're going to keep up in the chopper view, and they are passing by. But we're going to give them a minute to settle down. But what I was saying, Greg, up until about 7 years ago, I was sitting back bored, and I've always liked racing. I typed in, racing games, and right there I done said the F word. It's not a game. It's a simulator. And then all of a sudden, I created this little group. Started out as Kiss My Ass, and we cleaned it up with Pad and went to KMA. But, you talk about the broadcasting experience. Believe it or not, I've had none. And, I'm one of them guys, I fly by the seat of my pants. But, hey, as these drivers are settling down, flying by the seat of their pants, I want to get in another driver interview here with Dustin Lee. Now, Dustin Lee does represent Southeast Motorsports. How about it, Dustin Lee?
How you doing?
Doing good. I'm up here flying by the seat of my pants. How are you doing?
Pretty good so far. Trying to take care of the car after I try to smash it up there on lap 1.
Nice. We saw you had a delayed start. Now, but you're sitting up here. You started second. You're currently in fourth, racing for Olive Hill Welding. First of all, tell us about the welding. Second of all, tell us about your night.
Yeah, it's a local company here in Roxborough. My good buddy owns it, and they've been around for years and years, do a lot of welding and fabrication work. And as far as the car goes, running pretty good. It's a little tight, but a little in 3 and 4, and a little loose in 1 and 2. So I don't really know how to correct that. So I guess it's gonna have to deal with it and see what it gets us.
All right, now I tell you what, we've been talking about driving the bad boy cars tonight, the big boy cars. Now you're in a Chevy SS, you're going to be lining up behind Travis Browder in that Toyota, side by side with the number 13 Toyota, and I'm sure there's a Ford Fusion. Tell our fans, is there any real difference when you go into a race? You can pick any of the three. Why did you pick the Chevy SS?
I'm just a Chevy guy to begin with, so that's really all I run. But I mean, I've heard Chevy's a little looser than and the Toyota's a little tighter. But I don't really see a difference. Honestly, I don't even like running a car at all. So I'm kind of biased to it.
All right, you got any fans out here tonight?
Yeah, I think my wife and my family, and let me do this, and we'll see where we can get a good finish for.
All righty, good luck to you, Dustin Lee.
Thanks.
Dustin Lee out here racing with Southeast Motorsports. Mark Jackson in 6th position. Wally Tierheimer in 7th. Edward Bray. Edward Bray, always good for a mid. Well, it's not post, it's not pre. What do you call that when you're in mid there, Greg?
Just exactly what you just called it there.
In between, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're there, but you're not there.
All right. Ed, you're not post-race. You're not pre-race. We don't know what you are, but you're in 8th place, brother.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
All right, talk to us about your night so far. 6 cautions, big boy cars, 32 to go. What are you thinking?
Hopefully we can stay green and I can make us some more spots. Maybe get up to the top 5. That's what I'm hoping. I got a good car. Setup's great, and hopefully we can get up to the front somehow.
All right, we're getting ready to go back to green flag, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, you've been upgraded from the Reaper to the Grim Reaper. Good luck to you there, Edward Bray.
Thanks, guys.
Edward Bray in the Grim Reaper. All right, I like to be fun up here, so Greg, we're going to jump into the cockpit of Edward Bray on this restart. If you could walk us through this restart from the cockpit, the gyro cam of Edward Bray, because I tell you what, these restarts, they're a bitch.
Yes, they are. And we're getting ready to take the green flag here. Eddie's lined up for a car, and they got a little bit of a jump on him, but that's okay. He'll go through the gears here really quick. We're coming upon the entry of turn 1, and let's see here. Okay, there's Mr. Tierheimer on the bottom side. Oh, easy. That's Mr. Dustin Lee. We got a caution out on the racetrack.
Oh, triple back-to-back. All right, now once again, Greg, I screwed up my replay. Tell us what happened right there with Dustin Lee.
Dustin Lee, basically, for lack of a better phrase,
screwed the pooch?
Yeah, well, no, that's going to be, I want to be nice there. It's one of those things, you go through the gearbox, and he had damage going in before that actually happened, and actually he got tapped from the rear.
All right, talking about our rear drivers, let's go and check in with one of your guys. All right, let's survey this field. Now, we got George Stratton sitting in pit row. Howard Bell is sitting in pit row. Now, Williams had to take it to the hauler. He is 29 laps down. Let's see if we can find John. Where is Big John? Big John's is out there in position 10. All right. I'm going to go on and grab John down here, but I'm going to let you handle that interview since you know him.
10-4.
Here you go, Greg.
All right, John Button, Greg McLennan up in the KMA booth. You got a copy?
10-4, I got you.
Hey, John, how's your night going so far, bud?
Yeah, going pretty good. Just kind of riding around, trying to avoid wrecks and be there at the end.
Big 10-4 there. Attrition's been high, and the caution count is starting to come more frequently. What's your plans for trying to get this race completed and get your best finish possible?
Well, I'm an adjustment for the short run, so hopefully it'll pay off, and maybe I can get a bye on these restarts, get a couple people here and there, and see if I can get in top 5.
Well, green flag racing is pretty much out the window, so anything from this point on is going to probably be promoting things for the short run. If there's any cautions from this point on, do you plan on pitting again?
Nope, I'm done.
All right, Big 10-4. Even with the tire wear, this man is wanting to stay out there, and he's willing to put it on the line there to get a best possible finish he can, if not a win. But John, thanks a lot. And anybody you want to give a shout out to real quick?
Yeah, I'd like to give a big shout out to Dark Horse Racing, Howard Bell and everybody on the team, and to everybody, what you guys do and everything. So it's fun being here.
John, it's a pleasure, and as a member of Dark Horse, I've already maybe said this on maybe 1 or 2 occasions already, but you guys were the group that basically found me. KMA was the first team that I joined when I first got to iRacing, and I just wanted to just give a special shout out to Dark Horse Racing, because these guys are the ones that I'm most affiliated with and know the most, and just proud member of that team as well as our KMA family. John, great job tonight, and good luck on your finish tonight.
Appreciate it, guys.
All righty, big shout out there to Dark Horse Racing. Now, I do want to get on a serious note here. Gonna bump up with Kerry Cleaver. Kerry Cleaver out here running with Maximum Velocity in the 069. And first off, Greg, he didn't take my number, 69. But now that I'm broadcasting, I guess he can. But hey, how about it, Kerry?
How you doing tonight, Scott?
Doing good. And I'm having a lot of driver interviews, but I'm taking a look around this track, this 1.4 mile speedway. and I'm looking at the specialty cars. Your car, the puzzle car, the autism car. While we're, go ahead and tell me all about your son. I'm going to give you a big shout out here for autism. Take it away.
I appreciate that, Scott. My son's a 24-year-old autistic, and he does real well. You know, he never learned to read really as far as like sounding words out. He knows some words by sight, but he can go online and play games with his friends and download music, and it's just amazing what he's learned to do not being able to read. So he does quite well for himself, really.
All right, now last time I interviewed you, I heard that he did actually get a job. Now, how did that make him feel? Because you and I go to work and we hate it, but I think he had a whole different attitude.
Absolutely. He is thrilled about his job, and this, what it is, it's an organization here that they come pick him up, they pay him, they put the nails in the little plastic anchors for closet-made shelving, the wire shelving, and they let them work at their own pace. They pay them a little bit. It ain't much, but it's just something to get them out of the house, and it's been great for me.
All righty, copy that. Now, talk to me about your race. You're on the lead lap, but hey, we've had triple back-to-backs. Now, that's something we don't see a whole lot. Are you scared? Are you confident? We've got 27 to go. What's on your mind right now, Kerry?
I didn't get enough practice, so I'm just really trying to stay out of the way, and I got tangled up in that last accident, so I had to use my reset, but I'm having fun. That's all that matters.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right.
Number 95 gets out there, and he does his thing again.
74 laps led. All right, folks, I wish I could tell you somebody else has led a lap, but they haven't. All right, but Greg, you know, you're a race fan, so we're going to take a look at these pretty cars out here. What is up with the number? Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness.
Oh, no.
Greg, I'm glad I got you up here. What happened tonight? What happened here?
That was just a simple matter of...
Goodness. I wish I had my replay button working. All right, I tell you what, while we get this all worked out, Greg, we're going to take a look at the pad commercial and a great commercial coming to you from GW Graphics. And that's going to give us about a minute and 10 seconds to get it all worked out. And we'll be right back with you.
10-4.
How's it going, Scott? Unfortunately, the car is in the hauler. Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Hey, doing all right tonight, Ron. Great job broadcasting so far, and pleasure to have you up here, brother.
Yeah, I figured I'd come up here and join you guys. I saw that we've had 2 people in the booth before. I don't know if we've ever had 3, and I figured I'd come up here and just kind of hang out, listen to you guys, maybe throw a little bit of input in, and watch the end of the race. Yeah, unfortunately I am too. You know, we fought the car really bad. We were really tight. We finally started to get it loose. Then it got too loose, got tagged in the bumper, spun it around, hit the inside wall, blew the engine up. And then the most recent caution, I was lucky. I got both my laps back that I was down while my car was getting repaired. And it's just been kind of crazy, you know. Too many cautions. I'm not sure why. I think it's a combination of aggressiveness and a very hard to control car.
Well, basically, Ron, guys, it's just these cars are a lot more, they're a lot different from the Xfinity and the Truck Series cars, and they can be a beast to handle. And the number 95 gets back out in front, followed by the number 18 of Mr. Travis Browder.
Yeah, and to that point, you know, the trucks are the lowest horsepower cars out there. The Xfinity cars and the Cup cars that we're watching tonight have the most horsepower, so I think that's also part of the equation. When you've got the amount of horsepower that you have in the Xfinity cars and especially here in the Cup cars, tonight was really all about throttle control. And if you got loose and you knew you were getting loose, you felt it, and you got out of the throttle, you could save it no problem. But if you didn't catch it right away, it would get away from you.
Number 95 is out stretching on just a little bit, and Travis is getting a little bit of pressure from the number 13 of Blake Pelliser.
Blake Heather, sir.
Heather.
Heather.
My apologies. Blake. Hey, I'll apologize to him later for that miscue on the broadcast, but he's doing a very good job putting pressure on Travis Browder right now.
I'll tell you, I saw Lee in practice, and he was very impressive. And then I saw Wally in practice, and he was just as impressive. So I look for a really tight battle for the remainder of the laps between these two guys. They've been controlling their cars very well. They're not overdriving. They're being patient. They're taking what they can. As Wally slides up, just as I say that, and almost clips Lee in the rear. So it looks like Lee Staples has cleared him and has Donald Stewart now trying to challenge on the inside, and we'll see if Donald can hold it down. That's one of the toughest things here to do is to hold it down here at Kentucky.
Now, Ron, you were out here when you're talking about holding her down. Now, obviously, there's no downshifting. There's a lot of deceleration, a lot of acceleration. We're looking at 66, almost in a 3 wide, 66 backs are down. So we're going to put you at gyro cam of Edward Bray. Talk to us about what's on his mind right now.
So as Edward Bray goes through turn 4 right now, he oh, sorry, my camera just jumped. As he's going into turn 2, he's letting off the throttle, maybe applying just a little bit of brake, dives underneath the number 19. Beautiful move there. He's got a good run on the inside lane. He's pulling up beside the number 57. Here comes that tricky, very tricky task of holding it down, and by holding it down, I mean, you got to get it woed up in the corners, and see, he lost his momentum, and that allows the number 19 to come right back on the inside. That's why it's so hard to pass him. When I say hold it down, you have to get on the brakes, get off the throttle, get the car to turn, and stay, get back into the throttle, but not so hard that the front end wants to push up towards the wall, because then you'll get into the guy next to you and take him out. So as Edward Bray completes pass on the number 19, looks like he's going to go back to work on the number 57, Wally Tierheimer.
Yeah, it looks like Eddie's cars, he's got pretty much a nice little thing going in 3 and 4 where he picks up a lot of time and momentum on his opponents. He's right on the very bottom of the racetrack as people wash up, and he comes right up, and Eddie's on the move right now, and we get a few green flag laps. I see about 3 or 4 cars that he can actually maybe contend with getting positions from as we continue to collect down the laps here.
Yeah, I noticed that Edward and Lee both have, they're probably running the very similar sets. And you're right, as we talk about how well he does on the inside, he now pulls the one on the outside. So that car is working at the bottom and the top. He can drive it anywhere that he wants right now, and it's part of the way into the run. I'm assuming Ed's a very smart driver. He's not going to burn the tires off, so that set must be very good.
Well, given that it is lap 90 of 100, time's running out at this point. But like I said, I see 3 possible people that he could possibly get. His car is working very well right now, especially coming off of 2 as he's entering turn 3. You see he's kind of entering a little high, and he kind of diamonds the corner a little bit and get maximum throttle off the corner.
I'm going to ask you to jump up and check out Lee Staples and Donald Stewart battling for the 4th and 5th positions currently. Donald Stewart has caught Lee Staples, and he's going to have to see if he can do anything with him in these closing 9 laps.
Now we are...
He's running a pretty consistent line at this point, and Mr. Stewart is closing in as he comes in the middle of 3, and he's coming off of 4. Looks like pretty even Steven from this point on, and Lee Staples actually goes up high a little bit and allows Donald Stewart to get a little bit of an advantage coming off the corner, and see how we do coming in there. Turn 1, and oh, look at there. Lee Staples was able to stay on the gas just long enough, but Donald Stewart is there.
All right, we are in car with Donald Stewart. So Ronald, there's a lot of engine like going in and out. When they're on that engine, we can hear them. When they're letting out, we are in car with Donald Stewart. Talk us about the braking points, the acceleration points as we come around that dogleg.
So right now, Donald Stewart is now on the throttle. He's not on it 100%, but he's on the throttle. He's now at 100% throttle. Coming down the backstretch, he has just lifted, applying light brake. Back on the throttle gently. He's probably feathering the throttle a little bit down, a little bit up, a little bit down, and he's doing that judging how close he's getting to that outside retaining wall. Full throttle once again down the straightaway, off the throttle, on the brakes, just very slightly, back in the throttle. You get the car to rotate through the corner. Again, it's all about throttle control. You can't just, halfway through the corner, you can't just slam your foot to the floor. These cars won't do it. It'll either break loose or it'll push the front end out towards the wall. It looks like the handling has gone away on the number 78 car. Looks like he's pushed it very hard. He was right to the rear of Lee Staples and can't seem to close the distance from here. I see his car kind of pushing out towards the wall each corner, so I don't think that he's going to have anything for Lee Staples.
All righty, we got to lock it up with our leaders. We are on lap 94 of 106 to go. So you're talking about Donald. We're going to jump it up there to Lee Staples in position 4. Travis Browder, Greg, 3rd position, but he's pretty close to Blake. Do you think he's going to catch Blake?
And actually, I'm going to jump in and just to update you guys, that was Travis was just in front of Blake. Blake just got past him.
Yeah, Travis's car's kind of gone away a little bit, and our leader is somewhere in another continent right now.
Well, he's 2.5 up, 2.5 up.
Yeah, well, he's been the dominant car all evening long.
Well, he's led every lap.
There's no doubt about it whatsoever. Like I say, he's in a totally different zip code. He is on a rail, as we used to call it back in the day. There was no denying that he's going to win this race tonight.
Now, I shouldn't have counted Donald Stewart out, fellas. He has managed to slip by the number 64. I don't know if the 64 made a mistake or if Donald was holding back, but the 78 got by the 64, and the 64 is trying to make a comeback down the front stretch right now.
Side by side.
Oh, yeah. And Lee he's throttling up off the corner to pull within a bumper distance of the 78 of Donald Stewart, but coming off and going into 3. Looks like Mr. Stewart was able to get off the corner a little better to put a little bit of distance on Mr. Staples, but he is still there.
2 laps to go. I'm watching the leader, Dalton Collins, out to a sizable lead of 2.2 seconds. Blake Heather trying to close the gap, not able to at this point. Travis Browder sitting 2.8 seconds back. Lee Staples and Donald Stewart. Edward Bray, Mark Jackson, and Jack Watts. Those are your best battles out there right now.
Well, we kind of got strung out here a little bit, and we got these little small individual races as the 78 and the 64 are battling for position coming into the closing laps of this race. Final lap.
All right, since the front 3 are kind of off doing their own thing, I'm gonna keep my eye on the 3 of Mark Jackson, 77 to Jack Watts, and the 66 of Edward Bray, as Edward Bray is taking it into turn 3 hard, not going to be able to get to the rear bumper of Mark Jackson.
Well, the number 95, Mr. Dalton Collins, is actually a winner here at Kentucky Speedway. He dominated from start to finish. It was unbelievable. You fans saw it on YouTube. That was a pretty good waxing he put on the field tonight, and we look forward to talking to him in the booth. And I don't know what else to say, guys. It was just a waxing.
All right, I tell you what, we're going to let Greg interview Travis, and Ron's going to interview Blake, and I'll take on Dalton. All righty, so Greg, I'm going to move Travis up to the booth here, and you can have your way with Travis.
All right, 10-4.
There he is.
Travis.
Greg, how you doing? Hey, bud.
I had to get that laugh in for you, brother.
Great, man.
Great run tonight, brother. Explain to me how your night went, man. It looks like your car kind of went away late.
Yeah, we were tight all night. We ran a Max V setup. I was okay at the beginning of the runs. It's just it was getting tighter and tighter, but we held on to a top 5 all night for sure.
Like I said, I was very impressed with you were pretty consistent the entire evening. You didn't ruffle any feathers or anything like that. And like I said, until your car went away late, you were doing quite well there. Congratulations on your finish in Kentucky tonight.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I was just trying to hold on for hopefully a P3 to try to hold on to the points as I can.
Big 10-4, buddy. And any sponsors you want to give a shout out to real quick?
My teammates, Maximum Velocity, big shout out to Blake, Carrie, Wally, Chris Mulhall, Wally. I'd like to thank you guys in the booth, and yeah, especially you, Greg, for the sponsor for tonight's race, and congratulations to the podium as well. Especially congrats to Dalton on the win.
Outstanding, Travis. You have a great night, and congratulations on your third place finish, sir.
All right, thank you, and pictures will be posted. Thank you, Scott.
10-4.
Alrighty, our second place finisher of the night, Blake. Have you got a copy?
How's it going, Ronald?
I'm doing fantastic now that I'm up here in the booth and not having to white knuckle it out there. Boy, what a night for me, but boy, what a night for you. We watched you in the closing laps track down Travis Browder and climb on past him. Talk to us about your night, and if there were any more laps, did you have anything for that number 95 of Dalton Collins?
Oh, no, I didn't have anything for Dalton. Little miss on the set today. Got a little bit tight on the long run there and whatnot. So I just did what I did what I could, and I was just beating Travis right there in the center, and that's what kind of helped me shoot a little bit forward and get a P2 tonight.
Well, it was very entertaining to watch, for at least for me, for the last few laps. So you said it got tight on you as the run went. Do you think that contributed to a lot of the cautions tonight?
No, I don't think it was contributed to the cautions. You know, I think it was just something kind of missed in the set. I've been fighting tight all night and all day, and even last week when I tried to build a set, I was fighting tight. And it's probably just this bumpy track, and if we ever get the repave, maybe it'll be a lot smoother and better and faster.
Now, I actually meant the other drivers. You know, we experienced a lot of cautions out here tonight, and Scott and Greg and I were discussing it, and you know, Monday night we had quite a few cautions with an open set. Tuesday night trucks we didn't have as many because it was it was a fixed set. We don't know if it was because of that, but and then tonight an open set. What are your thoughts on it? What do you think? Why do you think there were so many cautions?
I mean, I really wasn't back there to really see a lot of the racing and stuff. You know, where we were setting at on the night, we were pretty. Everybody was racy and clean and gave each other room. I don't know if that could be an issue. You know, I don't know if it's a setups per se or anything like that. I myself love open sets. I'm in the process of learning how to build these cars and all the other ones. You know, I don't mind fixed racing, but I think the caution's just people get a little greedy, and you know, the mentality of, hey, it's a league race, you know, if I wreck out it's not going to hurt me or anything like in an official race.
Right. Okay, so I'm taking a look at your car right now. Talk to us about the paint job on that Toyota Camry.
It's just, you know, it's supporting our troops, and you know, make everybody aware that, you know, we live in a free country because of them. Every single one of them, all the men and women out there, go out there and all that good stuff. And like I told Scott earlier, I myself am too big of a chicken to go over there and shoot some guns at some other enemies, but I myself am a gun enthusiastic though.
Copy that. A fantastic looking paint job. I want to thank you for your time and congratulations on your second place finish. Before I let you go, is there anybody that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Everybody at Max V, you know, they kind of give me a little warm welcome and stuff like that, and accepted me a little bit. And everybody at my real team, Revolution Motorsports, you know, without them, I probably wouldn't have had this great of a set, at least somewhat of a set, I guess I should say.
Copy that. Well, once again, congratulations on a second place finish, and thanks for putting on a great show for us tonight.
Thank you.
All righty, Dalton, have you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, all right. Well, Dalton, you're off that track, so we can't look at your pretty car. But I tell you what, darn, you led 100 laps. The mic's yours. I don't know what to ask you, sir, other than, can I have your set?
I don't know about that, but I do believe this is a pretty fast car. Honestly, the set was actually a little bit off. Believe it or not, it was actually pretty tight through the center. with that, cold track conditions. But worked through that at the end of the race. It started coming around, but yeah, I mean, it was a pretty fast hot rod there.
So we didn't see you pass anybody. If we did, I missed it. Was tonight's win all about out in front, stay in front? Because, I mean, I know you worked, but we didn't really see you having to challenge anybody. Talk to us about that section of the set.
I do believe, I've always been a big believer of, if you can stay out front, stay out front. Don't ever try to, challenge anybody or have anybody challenge you. But, if you have a dominant set, stay out there and, go win the race. But I really do think track position was very important, especially at a place like Kentucky. It's very very hard to pass here, especially in the truck. I found out on I think it was Wednesday, Tuesday, somewhere in there. But yeah, I actually run this track a lot. I ran it last week in NIS Top Split, and this is actually Fastlane Motorsports stuff that I got under me, like I mentioned earlier in in-race interviews. But yeah, I mean, the car was fast. It was really all about track position, which I had all race. But this set wasn't built for these type of track conditions. But I'm actually very surprised that it handled as good as it did, even though it was a little bit off. But fast car all the way around, and really proud of everybody at Driven Motorsports for allowing me to come down and run this league. I actually really enjoy it. It was one of the very rare Cup starts for us over at Driven. Like I said earlier, we're a small super late model team, but this is also a very rare start for us. But Driven Motorsports entry with a fast lane setup underneath, so very successful night, obviously. But big shout out to Jonathan Smith, AJ Brissett, Joseph McWhorter, all those guys over there, and all the guys over at Fastlane, Dave Siltman, Jonathan Dickert. There's a lot of guys to thank.
All right, I want to tell you what, you did a great job. You led, I don't know, you guessed it, 100 laps. Dalton Collins not only dominating, owning Kentucky. Good job, Dalton.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we're going to wrap this up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Ronald Gregg, give us a quick race summary.
Well, the race started off basically, tame enough. Got to some, early laps of, racing there, and all of a sudden it kind of de-evolved into, little pesky cautions here and there. But, overall, we already knew, as most drivers probably knew going into the race, that they're going to have to deal with the number 95, and no one was able to do so tonight, and that's why he led 100 laps. That's why he won the race, and that's pretty much seals that deal.
All right, Ronald, final thoughts.
As much as I don't like to see the cautions, me personally being in the race, I got a chance to do a lot of in-race adjustments because of how many cautions there were. We're still learning this. We're kind of, the KMA is somewhat new to the open set deal. So I think tonight was a good learning experience all around. I hate to see that many cautions, but I think it gave people a chance to work on their cars, make adjustments to the cars, learn what it does and does not do in a racing environment. If it does what they want, whether it was loosen it up or tighten it up, and I think that we saw that with some of the cars that were, towards the back of the pack. They started moving forward. Myself, I had my car 1,000% better, and unfortunately I got taken out. But overall, I thought it was a great learning experience. It was some great racing everywhere that I was. When I was towards the front, and then in the middle, and then in the back, there was great racing all around. So I thought it was a great race, even though there was a little too many cautions. But that's my outlook on it.
All right, we're going to wrap this up with our results. All right, Greg and Ronald, I thank you for your time here in the booth, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
10-4, Scott. Had fun up here tonight, and invite me back. I would be more than happy to do it again for you.
Did a great job, even though you got snookered into this.
Hey, look, I was kind of semi-ready for it, believe it or not. Like I said, I could just rely on my old skills there to kind of plug in the gaps there and help you out tonight.
All right, thank you, sir. I am Scott Cole. The kids Greg McClendon, Ronald Klein, and we are out of here.